Thank you. I'm calling this session of the Board of Revision to order and acknowledge that we are in Treaty 1 territory, the home and traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Ojibwe, Innu Cree, and Dakota peoples, and the national homeland of the Red River Métis. Our drinking water comes from Shoal Lake 40 First Nation in Treaty 3 territory. My name is Harvey Diamond. On our panel today with me are Michelle Duncan and Ian Mann. The City Assessment Department is represented by Karen DeRockney, and our administrator is Crystal Harland. We will be hearing applications for revision of the assessment rules in accordance with the Municipal Assessment Act. The matters for which revision has been requested have been described in each application, and we will be limiting discussions to those matters. The statements that are made at this hearing are sworn testimony, and anyone speaking to the matters must first be sworn in. Be advised that comparisons of assessments of properties are not considered evidence of market value by the Board of Revision. The Board of Revision is appointed annually by Council, is independent of it and the City Administration. We make our decisions on the basis of the evidence provided at this hearing and will issue a written order that will be mailed to all participants as soon as possible. Please note that the Board's decisions with respect to an application may be appealed to the Manitoba Municipal Board if the matter pertains to assessed value or to classification. Otherwise, the Court of King's Bench, the matter pertains to an application for exemption from taxation. And should a party wish to appeal, information on do so will be included with our order. With respect to the hearing process, I will confirm the points of appeal with your property to be addressed to each applicant following their swearing in. We'll then have the assessor's testimony followed by any questions that the applicant may have. And then the applicant's testimony followed by any questions. Each side will have an opportunity to summarize if they wish to do so. Once all the evidence about an application has been brought forward, the applicant may leave. The process will repeat for each item on the docket today, and the session will close after all applications have been heard. And the board will deliberate in private to make its decisions. You receive the board's decision by written mail as soon as possible. As information, all public hearings are live streamed, recorded, and will form part of a public record. And today we'll be hearing items 4 and 10 on our docket. Mrs. Harlan, please swear in the or affirm the assessor and the applicant's testimony at this time.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Madam Assessor, would you please state your full name?
Karen DeRockney.
Thank you. Do you affirm that the evidence you are about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Mr. Applicant, would you please state your full name?
My name is Jared Story.
Thank you. Do you affirm that the evidence you are about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
can we just call a quick recess, please? I just need to tell you something.
absolutely. We'll recess for a few minutes then and
Okay.
get back as soon as we can.
Yes.
Thank you. I just found out that I misspoke, and we're in fact hearing items 2 and 8 today. So sorry about the misinformation, but the fact is that item number 2 is the property of 400 Kuwaitan Street. And Mr. Rockney, when you're ready, you can proceed with your evidence.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. This is for file number 25-391, roll number 0709162300 for the address of 400 Kuwaitan Street. We are defending the assessed value of $2,388,000 for the 2026 roll year based on the reference date of April 1, 2023. It consists of 2 buildings with 1 story. The actual year built is 1997 to 2000, with the effective year built of 1997. They have a wall height of 14 feet and 21 feet. The leasable area is 17,475 square feet, with the land to plan area of 2.79. A map is showing its location is provided on page 3. It's located off of Selkirk Avenue or Logan Avenue. It is near the Pacific Industrial area. Aerial views provided on page 3 through page 5. Exterior photos provided on page 6 and 7. On page 8, we provided 5 rent comparables, which are like the subject. They are all storage warehouses with a lease start of 2018 to 2021, leased area of 12,000 square feet to 23,190 square feet, average wall height range of 15 feet to 23 feet, a effective year built of 1980 to 2000, and a net rent of $6.53 per square foot to $11.18 per square foot. Our income workup is on page 9. The 17,475 square feet have a rent of $7.45 per square foot, provide a potential rent of $130, $189. We reduced that by a vacancy loss of 3.5%, plus expenses at 3%, with the shortfall at $4 per square foot. This gives us the net operating income of $119,460. We've capitalized that at 5%, in which generates our capitalized value of $2,388,000. You will find our capitalization rates on page 11, showing the industrial range of 5.35 at the 20th percentile to 7.30 at the 80th percentile. Our 5% is below the 20th percentile, but we do feel that due to its newer build and size, it is fair, and thus having less risk. On page 13 and 14 is the income and expense questionnaire received, advising that it is fully owner occupied. Based on this evidence, we believe that the assessed value of $2,388,000 to be fair and equitable, and ask for it to be confirmed. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions, Mr. Story?
Yes, just a few, Mr. Chair. Thank you. Mr. Rockney, have you visited this property?
I have not, no.
Okay, and is it fair to assume that all of the inputs here are model generated?
They are, yes.
Okay. Okay. Can we agree that the land to plan at sub 3:1 would typically be considered on the lower end?
I'm not too sure about that.
Okay. And okay, that's fine. And we do indeed have M1 zoning here. Do all of your comps, are they all M1 zoned as well?
A very good question. That I am not 100% certain.
Okay. Okay, just going over to your rental comps. To be fair, the only one that is in the general vicinity would be King Edward. Is that a fair comment?
I believe 15 Winfield Way is as well.
Right, that would be Omans Creek. Okay. The one that sticks out to me, I suppose, is on Lawson. That's in Fort Garry Industrial. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So that would be the only one that sticks out. Would you agree with me that the rental rates generally in West Fort Garry Industrial would be higher than they are in the area adjacent to the Pacific Industrial development? Is that fair?
It is a fair statement, yes.
Okay. Okay, and then the is the model, or are you aware that there's a fair bit of mezz space in this building? I see that the leasable area is not broken down. So is it safe to assume, or sorry, I'll ask one question at a time. Are you folks aware that there's a mezzanine in this building?
I don't believe that we were made aware until recently you brought it to my attention. And with that being said, I would have hoped that we could have had an inspection done. So no, I was not aware if that is true.
Okay, and then just moving further through here, I see that you did include the INEs. Were you able to look at the actual expenses this property is reporting?
No, I did not.
Okay, I'll get to that in my presentation. And then finally, that cap rate of 5%, based on what you've provided here, the brokers certainly, and with your own analysis, would that 5% cap rate not seem aggressively low for this property, given its location, given some of its unique features? Does that not seem to be on the very, very low end?
It is on the low end, but for this property, again, I wish I had the chance to inspect the property, but with the facts of its newer build and that mostly consists of the 21 feet and the size, I do feel it's fair. But I do agree.
And we're saying newer build. It is, to be fair, it is, the last development on the building was 25 years ago, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Okay. I think I will leave it there, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much, Mr. Rockney. Those are my questions.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Story. Ms. Duncan, do you have any questions?
No questions, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Mann, do you have any questions?
I do, with respect to the cap rate. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ms. Rockney, the capitalization table that you have provided on page 11 divides the industrial category into 4 different categories, I guess. Single tenant A, multi-tenant B, industrial A, and industrial B. Under which of those categories does this property fall, in your opinion or in your testimony?
Hard to say because they're also all the same.
Yes, I know.
So it's, but it is owner occupied, and typically it is industrial A or B. But in the end, it's the same result. So.
Okay, and the differentiation between A and B is apparent through the Colliers, the CBRE, and the Cushman and Wakefield site with a differentiation, but the city does not have that same differentiation. As you pointed out, the cap rates are the same. Can you explain why there is no differentiation between industrial A and industrial B in the City of Winnipeg's column?
I wish I had an answer for you, but something that it is just that's the way it's been set.
Okay, thank you. I don't have anything further.
And I don't have any further questions, so thank you very much. So, Mr. Story, you can proceed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. While this is top of mind, Mr. Mann, we do bifurcate by quality. We would certainly classify this as an industrial B, and we would apply an appropriate cap rate on that basis. So once again, we are at 400 Keewatin. This is an industrial warehouse. It is a steel frame. So and what goes on here is the manufacturing of road and traffic signs. So that's what goes on, just to give you a sense. It was built again in 1997 and in 2000. You can see that the original build has 14-foot wall heights, with that addition in 2000 with 21-foot wall heights. The land to building, as I mentioned, is quite low, particularly for a building. We're not suggesting that it's a newer build, but certainly for a building built in this era, that site coverage is fairly low. Obviously, there was an expansion done in 2000, which would have altered that land to building. But as it stands today, we are sub 3-to-1, which we have to consider. I mentioned. Oh, I'm sorry. It is indeed owner occupied. So I have gone through the process of looking to industrial properties in the immediate vicinity. I've provided you with a table of 14 rental comps showing an average rent of $722 and a median of $725. My best comparable, I would say, is index number 7. That's a building built in 1987. It is on Keewatin. It's 4 blocks away. And that rent is at $6.30 overall. So it is a little bit older, but the leasable area is dead on. And there is a step that begins in January of 19, so slightly before our reference date. But that is, I would suggest to you, that is my best comparable. Ultimately, we are applying $7.50 per foot to the main level. However, we apply a partial rent to the mezzanine. Typically, in the market, we don't see an extra charge applied to the mezzanine, but by the way we assess properties, if it's there, we have to assess it. So it is our practice to apply a half rent, let's say, or a partial rent to that mezz space. So ultimately, for the 15,600 square feet of main floor area, I've applied $7.50 with a partial rent attributable to that 1,875 square foot mezzanine area. Vacancy at 3.5 is standard. We're not disputing that. The capitalization rate, sorry, let me back up for one moment. I asked the assessor about the shortfall in this property, and I was surprised that the expenses are quite high. I calculate them to be 105,609.59, and if we take those expenses across the entirety of the leasable area, which includes the mezzanine, that is just a touch north of $6 per foot. So that's 50% higher than the allowable shortfall of $4 per foot. I haven't made an adjustment there, but we've tried to capture the some of these specific issues in the application of an appropriate cap rate. So again, we have locationally, we're not in a traditional industrial park. We have a steel frame building with M1 zoning and sub 3:1 land to building. So on that basis, we have classified this as a Class B to be certain and applied a capitalization rate of 7%. You can see on our summary table, we bifurcate the investment grade by A, B, and then non-investment grade. And for this cycle, the Bs, let's say, fall between 6.5 to 7.5. So I think we've been quite fair in applying a cap rate of 7% to this property. So our NOI is 113,959 based on our application of the rent that we discussed. We haven't adjusted the vacancy from the modeled assessment. We think 3.5 is aligned to the market. The management and shortfall is not disputed either. However, we do point out that the expenses are higher and that should be captured somewhere. So we've captured that broadly in the cap rate. That 5% capitalization rate that's been applied is aggressively low, and it's led to what I'll suggest is a fairly substantial distortion in this assessment for this cycle, leading to a fairly large increase that I don't believe is supported by the market. So with all that being said, Mr. Chair, we do respectfully submit the value not exceed $1,628,000 for our purposes today. Again, that's $1,628,000 based on our submission. And with that, I'm happy to take your questions, and I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Story. Mrs. Rockney, any questions?
I do, yes, thank you. On your page 16, would you agree that it was difficult to find very similar type with the similar characteristics as the property?
In terms of comparable sales?
Or in terms of like the age mainly, the build. The age of
In the city of Winnipeg? No, I think that there are a number of these functional steel warehouses. Now, in terms of the cap rate, if I am looking at page 16, I'm not suggesting that any one of these is directly comparable, but we are showing the work that we did that has led us to our cap rate conclusions, and they are indeed supported by the brokerages as well. So no, I don't think this is a particularly rare type of building in the city of Winnipeg, and I think that the cap rate that we've applied is quite appropriate.
Those are all my questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Mann, any questions?
Yes, I do. With respect, first of all, to the mezzanine area, I note on your page 2, your facing page, there appears to be, sorry, I'll start again. Is the mezzanine area that area that's reflected in the first photograph in your submission? It looks like office windows in that. Is that the mezzanine area, or is that the area on the second page? Okay.
That would be the mezzanine, yeah, where those windows are. Yeah.
And that's used for office space in the
no, they actually have a printing machine on that level where they they print the graphics that are then applied to the signs. So I've seen the actual setup up there. It's not for office. It is for industrial purpose.
Okay. And it's part and parcel with the business that they're doing there, obviously.
Precisely.
Okay. And that's
if I may, sorry, sir. I'm sorry.
Go
I
ahead.
just wanted to clarify. Yeah, no, it's I think I see where the question is going there. If this operator were not carrying out the type of business that they're carrying out, it would still be a storage or industrial space. It would not be fit up for office. So I just want to be very clear about that, because we do sometimes see that, but not in this case.
Okay, thank you. And it's 1,500 square feet.
It is, sorry, that sounds about right, but I don't want to misspeak. It is, no, the mezzanine is 1,875 square feet.
Oh, okay, thank you. I couldn't read my writing there.
Yeah, no problem.
185. Okay, and the capitalization rate that you have included from your calculations, those are lifted from the capitalization rate study that you filed as well as part of your submission?
Yes, sir. Those are the summarized inputs that we've used to support our position, along with all the other information that is in the cap rate study. But yes, those are from our capitalization rate study. That's correct.
Okay, thank you. I don't have any other questions.
Thank you, Mr. Mann. Ms. Duncan, do you have any questions?
No questions, thank you.
And Mr. Story, I don't have any further questions, so that completes this matter. If anybody wishes to make a summation, I'll allow them to do so at this time.
My apologies, Mr. Chair. I just want to get that mezz space. Was it, you said 38, Mr. Chair?
No, the main area is 15,600, and the mezz area is 1,875. It's on my page 12.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
The summation, Mr. Chair, if I may, if
Absolutely.
the assessors yes, thank you, sir. So I think ultimately the rent, we have a concern about applying an equal rent to the mezz space as the main area, and I can't stress enough that capitalization rate of only 5% does not have application to this property, given its specific and unique characteristics. So we do respectfully submit that cap rate be adjusted to something closer to what we would see in the market. So with that, I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Story. And Mr. Buck, I gave you the opportunity and you didn't, you asked a question. Do you have a summation?
No, I don't. Thank you.
That's fine, thank you. So we'll now then proceed with item number 8, which is the property on Skirfield. And just give me a minute to get there. Okay, Ms. Dorotny, when you're ready, you can proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is for file number 25-421, roll number 0306511260 for the address of 95 Skirfield Boulevard. We are defending the assessed value of $1,947,000 for the 2026 roll year, based on the reference date of April 1, 2023. It consists of 3 buildings with 1 story. It has an actual year built of 1987 to 2002, with an effective year built of 1994. It has wall heights of 13 feet and 14 feet, with a leasable area of 8,177 square feet and a land to plant area of 3.94. There is a map showing its location provided on page 3. It's located off of Dovercourt Drive and Kenniston Boulevard. It is situated in the West Fort Garry industrial area. Aerial views provided on page 4 through 6. Exterior photos provided on page 6 and 7. We've provided 6 rent comparables on page 8, in which are similar type like the subject. With the lease start date of 2017 to 2020, a range of leasable area, 7,400 square feet to 15,000 square feet, an average wall height of 10 feet to 14 feet, effective year built of 1982 to 2000, and a net rent of $13.65 per square foot to $19.19 per square foot. Our income workup is on page 9. The 8,177 square feet has a rent of $15.67 per square foot, providing potential rent of $128,134. We've reduced that by a vacancy loss of 6%, plus expenses at 3%, with the shortfall at $8 per square foot. This gives us the net operating income of $112,908. We've capitalized that at 5.8%, in which generates our capitalized value of $1,947,000. You will find our capitalization rates on page 11, in which shows the industrial range of 5.35 at the 20th percentile to 7.30 at the 80th percentile, in which our 5.8 is within this range. Page 13 through 20 is the income and expense questionnaire we received. In which page 17 advises a gross rent for the 8,177 square feet. On page 19, it advises a net lease with 2,000 monthly, in which would be 24,000 annually, suggesting a primary use as retail. However, on page 20 is a permit that we received in 2003 with the for the addition of 2275 square feet. This permit was pulled from the property owners, as well as it's the same accessible parties of the business. So I'm under the impression that it is owner occupied. And page 21 suggests the declared construction value of $100,000 for that addition. Based on this evidence, we believe that the assessed value of $1,947,000 to be fair and equitable, and ask for it to be confirmed. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Story, any questions?
Yes, sir, I do. Mr. Rockney, have you inspected this property?
I have not.
To your knowledge, has anyone from the department inspected this property?
I do believe when the this new business came into play in 2000, and for the permit as well, someone would have visited.
Okay, so about 22 years ago, somebody has visited the property, or so?
Correct.
Okay. Now I notice here under the description on your page 1, you're showing that it's an industrial warehouse. Yet it appears that the inputs that have been applied are related to office. Is that correct?
It is correct.
Okay. Can we agree that this is a martial arts academy? This is not an office. Is that fair?
I believe that's what it was prior to them being there.
So you're suggesting that it is not currently a martial arts studio?
It is currently a martial arts studio, but it is still classified as office type of property.
Okay. Okay. Just going to, and sorry, this is all model derived, or was this overwritten to apply office parameters when it's when the use code in your system appears to be industrial warehouse?
It is all model driven.
It is. Okay. Now it's showing on your page 1 that there are 3 buildings here, but there's indeed 1 building. Is that correct?
Good question. I believe there's 3 different years that it's been adjusted. I have a 1987 of 13 feet, 4912 square feet. 1997, 13 feet of 990 square feet, and in 2002, the 14 feet was added with the 2275 square feet.
Right, but those are expansions, so it's currently 1 building, correct?
That would be correct, yes.
Okay, and I just want to go very quickly. I notice you have a photo on page 7, and I just want to be very clear. That middle photo showing executive offices at 99 Scurfield, that has no application to our subject. That's the neighboring property, correct?
Good question. Give me a moment. I just want to see if it's connected. You're correct.
Okay, and these office comparables, would you agree with me that these are all vastly superior to our subject?
Moment. I disagree. What would you say they're superior?
Sure. Well, I suppose, Mr. Chair, at this stage, I'd like to point out I do have rebuttal to these comps. Would you like me to discuss that now, or how would you like me to proceed that rebuttal?
Well, if you're going to be questioning on this, I think it's probably important to see the rebuttal at this point, if we're going to see it, because I agree with you, Mr. Story, that I know that your comparables are much lower amounts, so we've got to determine what the fair rental value is of this property. So I would like Mrs. DeRockman to see the rebuttal before we do and give us her comments on it, and then we can proceed.
Thank you.
I just sent the assessor the applicant's rebuttal, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Rockney, we've had a chance of looking at it. I'd like your comments on it because we'd like to proceed as soon as we can.
That's the first time seeing it. I do see that the interior is not the same usage. But same as our property with the office.
Okay, I'd like to, at this point, Mr. Rockney, have you got any objections of us seeing the rebuttal? And if so, please voice them. Otherwise, we'd like to see them and to go on with this.
Of course, you can see them. Sorry, I wasn't sure that was what you were
Oh,
wanting.
okay, sorry. That's why I wanted you to see it first. If you saw something flagrantly prejudicial or something, then we'd hear what your comments were before. But on that basis, then we will see them, and then we'll allow Mr. Story to proceed with his questions. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And if you just let me know when you have it available, I'll continue on.
Yes, Ms. Harlan, you can tell us when we can refresh.
Yes, I just put the rebuttal in there a few minutes ago, Mr. Chair. I believe it's titled 95 Scurfield Boulevard, applicant rebuttal, etc.
Okay, my computer's slow, so I'm still waiting for. Okay, I think we can get it now. Good.
I have it now, thank you.
Got it. Thank you.
And I'm still waiting for my slow computer to. Okay. And I've got it too now. Thank you.
Okay.
Wonderful. Okay, so I'll proceed with my questions on these, Mr. Rockney. So you had asked why I think they're superior. Can we agree with these photos on Roblin, for example, and contrasting with the photos in my brief for my inspection? Can we agree at a minimum that the office build out is far superior in the Roblin property?
Superior as you mean, I mean,
Quality of build out. The
quality.
quality of the build out. Yes.
I mean, I definitely wish that I had a chance to inspect the property, so it is difficult for me to really say. I mean, it's being used differently, more of an office type than what the owners chose to do with the property. It is a different type of use for sure.
Okay, and at a minimum, is it a fair comment that in order to bring our our subject property to this standard of office build out, it would require significant capital investment? Is that a fair comment?
Yes and no, because perhaps it was a similar setup and they decided to take it down.
Okay, based on that comment, are you aware of the history of this building? Has this building ever been a standard office building, to your knowledge?
I don't know for certain, but I do know who was there prior, and it could possibly have been an office type setting.
Okay, but the original tenant would have been a construction firm, and then the tenant after that would have been an environmental and engineering firm. Is that not your understanding?
The environmental, but I'm not sure what they would have used it for.
Okay. Okay. I'll move along. In terms of now 255 Sherbrooke, I suppose
Mr. Excuse me, Mr. Story, just to help
yes,
us,
sir.
if
Yep.
you are referring to your rebuttal
Yes,
in
sir.
any way, I would like you to maybe take us to the pages so we'll know
Oh,
where
sure.
we're going. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Okay. So, pages 1 and 2 are Roblin, which we've just questioned. And my next comparable is on Sherbrooke, and that would be on page 3
Okay.
and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7. So I was able yesterday evening putting this together to find some realtors listings that show the interior quality of the build out. So I suppose, Mr. Chair, my questions to the assessor on 255 Sherbrooke are the same as my questions on Roblin, and that is, can we agree that the quality of office build out is far superior to the quality of build out in our subject property? That's a question for Mr. Rockney.
And it would be the same response, is that
Okay.
definitely they're used differently. So the setup is more of an office type. I agree with that comment.
Okay. Now I didn't find any photos for Sherbrooke or for St. Mary's. And I apologize for not having this physical copy numbered, but your PDF should be, well, let's see, page 8, I believe. I was able to find this from the Winnipeg Prosthetics Clinic from their website. Can we agree at a minimum, Mr. Rockney, that 188 Marion would be best considered a medical office? Is that fair?
It appears so, yes.
Okay. Okay. Moving along. So we've dealt with the rent. Now that capitalization rate, that is, just to be clear, that's the capitalization rate that the city would apply for a suburban office. Is that correct?
It's the cap rate. was the cap rate that was model generated. For the
Okay,
property.
but even if it is an office cap rate, would that not, at least by the broker's estimation, would that not be on the low end, considering that the suburban office caps typically start at 6 or 7%? Is that not a fair comment?
Not necessarily, because of the characteristics of the property. That the
Okay, but
model,
we would call this a suburban B. Is that not fair? You wouldn't call this an A-class office, I would presume. Is that a fair comment?
fair comment.
Okay. And so, and even if, and we don't believe this is an office, I'll get to that in my presentation, but even if that were the case, wouldn't that cap rate still be quite low, even from the model? Is that not, 5.8 would be below Collier's lowest suburban B, would be lower than CBRE's lowest suburban B, and it would be lower than Cushman's lowest suburban B. Is that not correct?
I mean, it's just under. It's not like it's much lower.
Okay. On your page 13, and you'd mentioned the owner occupied, it is indeed owner occupied. If I look at the annual request for information on page 13, I noticed that the property group is indeed industrial, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then you'd mentioned that permit from many years ago on your page 20. And if I look at the very top under the PID, it shows a PUC. Presumably that's a property use code, and that does indeed indicate that it's industrial warehouse as well, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. I think I'll stop there, Mr. Chair. Those are my questions. Thank you, Mr. Rockney.
Thank you. Ms. Duncan, do you have any questions?
No questions, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Mann, do you have any questions?
I do, just for my clarification, please. There's been a lot of talk, Mr. Rockney, a lot of questions about the use, where office caps, capitalization rates were used, office rents were being used. Just to confirm, the parcel use as the city has it is industrial warehouse. Is that my understanding is correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, you had indicated earlier in your testimony as well that some of the office parameters had been used to retrieve the amounts from the models. That's correct as well?
That is correct as well.
Okay, now, why?
Great question. And that's what that's what we had the property as for the longest time. So until we can have thorough inspection, that's what it was set up as, that it could be utilized as an office space.
Okay, so the best information that you had without an inspection that hasn't taken place for many years is that this could be used as an office, but was industrial warehouse. Is that, I've got that sort of straight?
Yeah.
Hey, thank you. I don't have anything else.
Okay. So I guess my question is, I'm looking at your page 8 and your comparables, and those comparables were used, I guess, by the model. Is it to determine the fair rent that was ascribed for this property? Is that the case?
That's correct.
Okay, and do you think those rents are indicative of what the market would be for this property?
I believe so, because they were all office, the same type of property that came up.
Because I know that, and I've looked ahead, and I know that Mr. Story hasn't given his evidence yet, but his comparables show a much lower rental rate. And how do we know that the model rents are superior to the ones that Mr. Story is advocating?
It's a very good question, and it was also difficult to find similar as the subject in the same market region. So that was difficult to find. So I'm not sure if he was able to find ones in the same market region.
Okay, so your first answer was you thought they were fair, and now you're telling me that you're not really sure because it's hard to find comparable rents. So what is it?
Well, both, unfortunately. I do think that they're fair with the exception of the same market region. There's a few that were in the same market region. And the other ones, every other characteristic I found were similar.
Okay, well, okay. I've got no further questions. I guess, again, Mr. Rockney, I'll let you, if you first have a summation to make, I'll let you do so. Oh, I'm sorry,
Oh,
Not yet. Mr. Story's got to give his evidence. I'm sorry. Mr. Story, you can proceed, please.
wonderful. Thank you,
I'm
sir.
getting ahead of myself.
Um,
I'm sorry.
No problem. Okay, thank you very much. So as we've established here, I think from our perspective, this property has been misclassified by the city, and that's led to what I'm going to suggest is something of an egregious assessment. It comes out at about $238 per foot. And just to put this into context, 60% of this property, it's all wood frame. 60% was built in 1987, and then the remaining 40% was built between 1997 and 2002. I visited this property, spoke with the owner on August 12th of 2025, so quite recently, and that was for the purpose of preparing for this appeal. I've showed you why I think the assessment is too high for the modeled rent. I've included my inspection photos. Those start on page 8 in my chief evidence, and you can see indeed that this is a martial arts academy. It's a karate school for young people. That's what goes on there. It is indeed in the West Fort Garry industrial area, and it has M1 zoning. So I've included a number of photos. Not to put too fine a point on this, Mr. Chair, but based on the rebuttal and based on the quality of the build out of the comparables, you can see that they bear at this stage of what is physically there. Our property bears no relation to those comps, so we believe those comparables to be too high. And I will say, Mr. Rockney, if you or anyone from the city would like to come through this property with us to ensure that it is straightened out, we'd be very, very happy to take you through. So in terms of appropriate rents, Mr. Chair, on my page 22, I looked in the applicable rental market, and I was fortunate to find three. Well, the first three I believe to be very good, and I believe that number one is an excellent comparable. It is it's what's called a movement center. So effectively, they're doing the same sort of thing. They do parkour and that sort of physical activity, but it's basically an open space where they're doing physical activities that would be similar to our Taekwondo Academy. That is zoned M2. I will suggest to you that that is a superior building, and I'm quite familiar with it because I handled the appeal of it. So that rent is at $9.75 for what I'll call a superior building, same market region. But I think that's a very, very good comp. I think there's a good case to be made that our $10 per foot might be on the higher end based on that comp, but on balance, with an average of 1016 and a median of 963, I believe $10 per square foot makes good sense. I will point out as well, sir, that indices 2 and 3 are also CrossFit gyms. So I've tried to find properties where the characteristics are reasonably similar. I do note that 2 and 3 are from 77 and 74, so slightly older. But I'm trying to find properties that would provide the same utility based on this unique use as a martial arts academy. So based on our research and based on that very, very strong comp, number one, we've applied $10 per foot. Now, in terms of vacancy collection shortfall, the assessor has used higher rates because those rates in office are typically higher. We have continued to apply the industrial rates. We believe this to be an industrial flex warehouse, and just as a bit of a just to illustrate how we might approach this property if it was retail, you might consider it retail. The owner has said that he's carrying on a retail business, and that's fine. But standard quality retail would start at 7% in terms of the cap rate, 7 to 7.5. So we continue to believe that it is indeed industrial warehouse. There is something of a retail style operation with that martial arts academy. So I've simply included that retail summary for the board's edification. I just thought it was an interesting point to discuss since we're talking about the different asset types today. Ultimately, we've applied a capitalization rate of 6.5%. That's a standard industrial cap rate for a property of this vintage in this area. And again, we do continue to believe that it's an industrial flex building. So with that all taken together, Mr. Chair, our NOI is 75,396. And that's based on standard industrial parameters, but with the adjustment to $10 per foot based on those comparables that we've discussed. Cap rate at 6.5 leads us to an income value of $1,159,939, which we then, of course, round to $1,160,000. The balance of my brief is some of the property details. You can see that it is indeed owner occupied. That is right from the My Properties on page 37. You can see that the owners are the occupiers, and then I've included a little bit of background on the academy and their martial arts programs, just to solidify that it is indeed a martial arts academy. So with all that being said, Mr. Chair, we feel very comfortable at a value of $1,160,000. And with that, I'm very happy to take your questions, and I thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Zaraki, any questions?
I do, yes. On your page 22 with your comparables,
Yes.
are they all in the same market region?
Well, the
Clarence?
Clarence, I would say that Henlow and Waverly are better comps, but again, I did try to find leasable areas that matched and similar utility. So because this is a martial arts academy, I want to be very careful to not use some more productive use or whatever. So because this building is fit up in a way that I'll say is fairly basic, and that's the nature of a martial arts academy. It's a wide open area with there's mats. There's mats on a subfloor. So in terms of my research to find appropriate comps, I looked to similar utility. So I have mentioned here that Henlow is very close to the subject. It is West Fort Garry Industrial, and that is by far my best comp, and that more than supports our application of a $10 rent.
Those are my questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Mann, any questions?
I do not have any questions. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Ms. Duncan, any questions?
No questions, thank you.
Okay. Mr. I guess I've got only one question. That is the location of the property. Would you agree with me, or I'm thinking it's a pretty good location?
Yeah, it's a good location.
Okay.
No,
And
no doubt.
it is owner occupied.
It is indeed. Yep.
And for the use that they have, is the use that they've chosen for the property?
Yes, it's the use that they've chosen. Yeah, that's correct.
And for them, it's good. But I would suggest that it might be capable of a better use.
It might be, and I agree with you, but it would require, as I was alluding to, certainly to bring it to the level of a high quality office in the suburbs, it would require a great deal of capital investment. But even to bring it to a standard industrial use, it would require some capital investment as well. So we haven't applied a very high cap rate. I think we've applied what I'll call a middle of the road cap rate for a industrial building of this age that would require some additional build out or fit up. I do agree with that. But I think that ultimately the cap rate that we've applied based on what is there after our inspection makes sense.
The other question I have is there is a considerable amount of land that is not being utilized right now there as well.
Yes,
It's not a good land to building ratio.
It has a reasonable land to building ratio, but it is still sub 4, so we wouldn't start to have that discussion about excess or surplus land. But at this stage,
I'm not suggesting there should be extra taxes for the.
Yeah.
No, I'm not doing that.
No, but it is a positive, absolutely.
What I mean is, it is something that is easily redeveloped.
Potentially, but again, at what cost? That would be the question. But yeah, no, it's the land is certainly a positive feature of this property. There's no argument there.
And the only questions there would be to, try to determine what a cap rate might be on that basis.
Precisely.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I have no further questions, and I'm gonna now then invite Mr. Rockney and then yourself, Mr. Story, to make any summation you might have.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll do a quick summation. I do appreciate your comment, Mr. Story, in regards to having an inspection done. And I think in the near future, we would appreciate to do this with you. In regards to this appeal, we do believe that it has been classified as office type until we do get that inspection, because we do believe that it has the ability of being this type of use, and that has been what's been classified as the property. That is all. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Story, do you have any
Yes, sir. Just
final
very quickly,
summation?
appreciate the opportunity to discuss this property. We do believe that it has been misclassified, and that misclassification by the model has led to an exceptionally high assessment of $238 per foot. Again, we're happy to take the assessor through to ensure that this is corrected going forward. But for our purposes today, sir, I think we've applied fairly modest a cap rate that makes sense, and we've supported our net income with rent comparables of similar use. So ultimately, I believe that our value should be given weight and consideration, and I would ask that you pay special attention to the photographs. You can see the quality, and you can see that it is not indeed a grade A suburban office. So with that, I'll leave it there, and I thank you very much.
Yeah, and thank you both for your attendances and your summations and everything else you put into this. And we've now heard all items on the docket today, so we are going to close this meeting. You'll receive our decisions very soon, and have a good day, everybody.
Wonderful. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it.
Have a good one.
You too.
Yeah, I see it's 10 o'clock. Does anybody need a break at this time before we deliberate?
Yes, please.
Okay, we'll then take, how much time do we need, Mrs. Harland?
Oh, just about 5 minutes, please.
5 minutes? Okay, so we'll resume in, I guess, according to my clock here, it'd be 10:06, so we'll be back.
All
Perfect.
right, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll take us offline.
I guess I'll go warm up my coffee.
I'm gonna warm up my oven. I gotta